It's finally soup season. Good soup is back with Barbacoa soup dumplings. Nice. It's a dumpling filled with soup. That's it. That's the components. Now, is it magic how they get the soup into that wrapper? Well, yeah, I guess. If you ask someone that doesn't know how to do something, then I guess it could be magic, right? I can't wait because I'm gonna go see Harry Potter Symphony today. That's why I'm thinking about magic right now. But anyways, I want to bring back good soup. Yeah, so Good Soup is back. It's a series that I made about 2 years ago, and I have made so many soups in the past, so I'm open to suggestions for some new ones or even some classics that you like. Starting off with Barbacoa soup dumplings. These are really solid, man. This dough needs to rest. See, because right now, after mixing it together, this is very similar to making a flour tortilla, by the way, just minus the fat. It's just flour, water, salt. Now, as you can see, it's very elastic, but it wants to come back together like a rubber band. So this is why it needs to just rest. So I let it rest covered for about, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes, just so it can relax, because when we roll it out into the dumpling wrappers, we don't want it to shrink back into itself. Now, why have I chosen barbacoa as my filling? Also, why do I say barbacoa like that? Why don't I say barbacoa? Well, reason why is because I grew up on barbacoa. It's a big staple back home. Home for me is the Rio Grande Valley. It's where Elon Musk is launching rockets and stuff.
State-of-the-art SpaceX launch facility outside Brownsville, Texas.
I'm here at Starbase talking with Elon. Good to see you again, my friend.
Good to see you.
But every Sunday, you will find barbacoa at everyone's homes. Everyone eats it on Sundays. Don't ask me why, I don't really know. But you can get it from a drive-through at a tortilleria. Tortilleria is where they make tortillas. And they will sell it by the pound. Anyways, what does barbacoa mean? It just means barbecue, because it's supposed to be cooked in the ground like barbecue. Just a lot of people get barbecuing and grilling confused. They're two different things. Barbecue means to cover, like usually in the ground, while grilling is on a grill, open fire. Anyways, that's what it was typically done with. It was done under the ground, cows' heads. And there is one place back in my hometown that still does it that way. And they're the only ones in the entire country that are able to do that. It's kind of crazy because they got grandfathered in from the health department. Weird. But anyways, yeah, there's only one place in the whole country that does it.
It's the only one that you'll see commercially in the US.
Really?
There's no other one.
It's in my hometown. They have a James Beard Award, which is kind of cool. I went and visited them a few years back when I was visiting home, and they were super nice. It's called Vera's Barbecue, by the way. Now you might be asking yourself, if you're new to the channel, why the hell is this dude talking so much and why isn't he just getting on with the damn recipe? I just want to keep it casual, you know? Maybe you get to know me, I get to know you in the comments, and we just hang out like this. Let me know what you think of this format, by the way. Bowl of chorizo, bowl of barbacoa. This is my gelatinized barbacoa liquid.
Something that we would do to make the broth last longer is freeze it. Now, I've got it in the microwave just so I could kind of give it a little start on the defrosting because I want to make this video for you guys today. But if you see right here, I have it in a container. It's covered with some parchment and some plastic wrap, and it has this layer of fat on top. But this gelatin, it could hold for quite a while in the freezer. In the fridge, I would say hold it for maybe like a week, 2 weeks, something like that. But if you want it to hold it longer than that, put it in the freezer. It comes out perfectly if you want to just thaw it in the fridge. You could thaw it in the microwave if you want. Don't recommend it. I'm just doing it so I can make this right now. The basic thing about this is it's a liquid thickened with gelatin. Gelatin in what forms, right? We've got gelatin sheets, and then I've got gelatin powder. Okay, now this is going to be harder for you to find in a store. I don't even know where to find this in a regular store. We do have chef stores here that we can find it, but regular store, not sure. This is from Modernist Pantry. You can find this on Amazon or their website. These are leaflets of gelatin, and these are much easier to set. I really like using these. The quality is very nice. If you could score these, go ahead and score these. And it's also a lot easier because it says it on the back right here. Just add in, let's see, add in 1 gelatin leaf per half cup of liquid. So it's very straightforward, very easy. Now, gelatin, on the other hand, it's gonna be a little different, but it's basically the same process. You need to bloom this stuff in some cold water. You need to do that prior to adding it to your boiling liquid. It's going to work just the same. And no, this is not vegan. This does come from bones. It's derived from the bones. And that is why when you make a really nice stock and you reduce it very low, it's going to set like cello. The beauty of this is we can set basically whatever liquid we like in this case, barbacoa braising liquid, and put it into a soup dumpling. You see where I'm going here? I think it's a really cool thing that we have this vessel that we could put our favorite soup into. You could see the fat layer on top that rose. You could just scrape this off if you'd like. I think it's nice to leave this on while it's in the fridge because this is something I learned way back even culinary school, is when you keep the fat layer on your stock while it's in the fridge, it's going to keep it longer. It basically works like almost like a vacuum sealant. It keeps the impurities out. It's just like a Ziploc baggie, but naturally with fat. See, all this fat is just gonna keep it good. I sort of eyeball it, but I've got about a cup here to 2 cups of my fill, and then I'll just kind of go from there. Let's do 2-to-2 ratio, screw it. Yo, leave it to Matt to find the smallest bowl to mix stuff in. I hope this doesn't overflow. Okay, so anyways, I've got 1-to-1 ratio, 2 cups of filling and 2 cups of the broth. And I just want to mix this thoroughly. I could just do this in the mixer, but screw it. I'm just gonna do it by hand. It's totally fine. Believe it or not, I used to teach classes on how to make these. There was a school called Hot Stove Society in the restaurant group that I worked in, Tom Douglas in Seattle. And we would teach office workers like Amazon people and Googlers and Microsofters. They would have their team building events and we would teach them how to cook. That was kind of fun. But yeah, we always had soup dumplings on the menu. So this is something that's kind of like ingrained in me, yet I still cannot wrap a soup dumpling beautifully for the life of me. I could do a gyoza really nice,
but not a soup dumpling. Okay, there's our filling for the chorizo, and there's our barbacoa filling. 2 separate fillings. Thought I'd try it out, why not? I did this pop-up dinner in Houston on February, and I made soup dumplings for this event. They were barbacoa as well. I made about 150 of them for the guests. And once the guests were arriving, that was the first thing they were gonna get. Somebody, don't know who, put them into the oven straight up on the tray that I had them in. Now, I'm gonna show you, you don't do that. You put them in a steamer, like a bamboo steamer lined with some parchment so they don't stick. They all stuck to that tray, so all the dumplings were ruined. Gladly, I saved some filling and I saved wrappers, so I started just ripping through them like immediately. It took me like 10-15 minutes. I didn't fold them like soup dumplings though, because I'm faster like with gyoza. So it worked, but I made it like gyoza really quick. No one knew how to make soup dumplings there because, you know, Texas. And that was a lot of fun, but I gotta say, just don't put them in the oven on a sheet tray. They'll stick and they'll ruin. So that's a fun soup dumpling story I have. So now I'm gonna roll these out. This dough, I just had it resting like with the oven cracked, just so it can like be in a warmer place because it's pretty cold in Seattle right now. Okay, there's 2 ways you can do this. One way, I showed it on a video on my channel about 4 years ago. I made these beautiful black soup dumplings. I rolled them out on a pasta sheeter and then I used a cookie cutter to make all perfect little circles. You can do that, or you could just do what I'm about to do now. I just want to see what 25 grams looks like before I commit to it. Yeah? Okay, let's call it 25 grams. Okay, so with the scale is how I can get them all about roughly the same size. Now at this point, I just want to get them all into like equal little balls. So I just fold them into themselves like this, give it a little rolly roll, and then voila, there's a little ball that's gonna turn into a soup dumpling. Now this just needs to go into my container, kind of rest again to chill out. Now, here's the reason for not using store-bought wrappers with soup dumplings. It can be done. I've done it. I'll just let you know right now, it's a huge, huge pain. And also mind you, for towns that don't have them in stores, this is perfect. Just make them on your own. It's way easier. The reason being is these things are much easier to mold and bend, if that makes sense. The store-bought ones, they're pretty much set the way they're set. So if you try to bend them in any way, they're gonna crack. While as in these, they're very elastic. So I'm able to really pinch around that filling. You need it to be stretchy for the soup dumpling filling to work your way around it. But also you can make the center a little thicker so it can hold that soup better and it won't break as much, or won't break at all. So that's the whole reason for soup dumplings typically being hand rolled. If you've ever been to like DTF, Din Tai Fung, you'll see them like hand rolling them in the front. Yo, it's been so long since I've done this. I've not done this in a while, and I can tell right now. It's gonna be a little tedious, especially if you're new to it. But just be patient with it. It'll take some practice. And as long as you get it sealed, at the end of the day, it should be fine. As long as it's sealed. It doesn't have to look too pretty. But even for me, a seasoned person that has made these quite a few times, it could still be quite a pain. Like, it is what it is. But if you ever do make these, make sure to make a bunch and have some friends with you. Do it together. If you're doing it alone, it could be quite the meditation, actually. I kind of like doing it alone sometimes, just like in the quiet, just chilling on my own. It's a nice, like, Zen situation. But only if you're patient. You gotta be patient with it, because these can piss you off real quick, trust me. So just take your time with each little pleat. There's no rush here. And while this is going, I've already thrown a good batch in the freezer, just so they can stay intact. So if you want them to stay intact, toss them in the freezer. Don't hold them in the fridge. You can hold these in the freezer for quite a while, actually. I mean, that's how a lot of dumplings are even sold, is frozen. So if you want to make a good batch and freeze them ahead of time, be my guest. That's how we would do it at work. But I'm just working in batches. So when I build up to, say, like 4 or 5, I toss the rest in the freezer just so they hold up well. Here's one of the most crucial things you're going to need for this, and that is a steamer. Doesn't necessarily have to be one of these nice bamboo steamers, although it makes it easier. You could use any kind of steamer that has like a flat surface. I'm even used to using these right here, like a big hotel pan with the perforated pan. That will work just fine. Obviously, you might not have that, but you know, you get the point. Something with a flat surface that can steam out. And for those bamboo steamers, they do sell parchment that is specifically made for it. So that's kind of nice. That's money. That is so good.